Profile America, Tuesday, January 19th.
No chains, no strings, no fences, no walls, no net, just you to catch me when I fall. Look hard, no hands. Look hard, no hands.
Such a pretty song. That was Randy Travis. It's called Look Hard, No Hands. And you were listening to the KABF Crain and Cain show. I'm your host, Tracy Crain. John Cain is in the other room working on some projects. And so I'm here today manning the ship. And I have a special guest with me. His name is Joe. And I'm going to let Joe tell us a little bit about what he's doing because it's really exciting. And a little bit more about who he is and how he got started doing what he's doing. Hi, Joe. How are you?
I'm good today. How are you?
I'm doing fine. So tell us your full name.
Joe Monero.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about who you are and what you have going on.
I'm Joe Monero. I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts. Came to Arkansas and went to college here. And post-college, worked in video production. And randomly happened upon a program called Recycle Bikes for Kids, and had been volunteering there for a while. And after about 4 or 5 years of volunteering there, the gentleman started, Ron King, and me and him had a discussion, and it needed more of a full-time program director on the boards of it. And he asked if I'd like to be that person, and I've been on for 2 years now, full-time program directing there. It's called Recycle Bikes for Kids. What we do is we collect bikes all around, from all around the central Arkansas and Arkansas area. All the kids' bikes get repaired and go out free of charge. Any kid can get one bike free of charge through us. No questions asked. They just need to come on down and get one picked out, or we provide them to a lot of organizations who provide them also to kids. We're able to do that by a lot of volunteers helping us out. One, because they're just volunteering because they love helping out, or two, because they're an adult wanting to participate in the Earn a Bike program. So we have an Earn a Bike program for adults where they come in, they work a specific amount of hours depending on what type of bicycle they want. They have a set amount of hours that they've agreed to work, and they work those hours helping us repair the kids' bikes that go out free of charge. After they've successfully completed their hours, then they are able to obtain their bike that is unrepaired, and we walk them through repairing that from the ground up.
That is fantastic. I really love the concept of this program. I know that it helps people in a lot of different ways, and let's talk about that for a minute. What is the need for a program like this?
Well, it hits a wide demographic. There's obviously kids utilizing the program who have never had a bike before. There's adults utilizing the program because maybe they don't have transportation, or they work odd-end jobs that run after public transit hours. Or there's people that utilize our program just because they're wanting to earn a bike. Maybe they've become curious in biking or using the river trail, and they're unsure that they want to spend, the $500 to $800 on a nice beginner bicycle to try something out. And so they use our program, they utilize it to earn a bike and see if they want to do that. So it's a wide demographic that we serve. It knows no race, it knows no demographic, it knows no financial income. It's just whoever's in need of a bike, that's who we want to work with.
And so they walk into your office, and you don't have any preconceived notions about who they are or what they're doing.
Definitely not.
It doesn't matter what their socioeconomic background is. You're there to help them with getting a bike. Because why? Why do they need a bike? Why is it beneficial?
Well, for kids, it keeps them active. One, it keeps them entertained, so the parents love that. Two, it keeps them active. And we just live in a society where, lots of kids are stuck in front of a TV. This gives them, some real world contact and some good physical exercise. So for kids, it's great. For adults, it's either exercise reasons or, it's more so that that they need a way to commute around the city. They need a way to get to and from jobs, to and from places. So it just varies on who you're dealing with, but there's a large reason why it's very beneficial to people.
Okay, so you were talking about bikes. This is something that's interesting to me. What type of bikes? And you mentioned the cost of them. Mm-hmm. There are, and I don't know if people realize this, but there are a lot of different types of bikes, a lot of different levels of biking. Let's talk about that. What kind of bikes do you offer to what kind of people?
It just depends on the individual. We have individuals coming in just looking for something to get them on the road. What's the fastest I can get on the road, the quickest I can get on the road. And that's going to be something more entry level that requires less work. And then there's other people that are looking for something more long term, or something that can handle more abuse on the road, that they're going to be putting more extensive miles on it and things like that. And those end up being a little bit of a nicer bike, and they may require more hours out of people. So it just depends on what they're going to utilize it for, and how much time they're willing to put in for themselves.
I read something. It says here, my two favorite things in life are libraries and bicycles. They both move people forward without wasting anything. The perfect day, riding a bike to the library. And that was Peter Golkin who said that. I thought that was kind of cute. But one of the things, you're right about kids. They really do need to get reconnected with that outside world, because so many of them are in a bubble. They're in their computers, they're in their video games, they're in watching television. When I was growing up, having a bike was a necessity. It really was, and it was your vehicle to get you to all the fun places that you remember as a childhood. And without, if you ever want to remember your childhood, you just think about, riding your bike, or get your bike and go ride it, because that's what it does. It takes you to those memories. And so I think it's wonderful that you guys are doing this. If somebody wants to apply for it, how do they do that?
It's just as simple as you can either check us out online. We're on Facebook, Recycle Bikes for Kids on Facebook. RecycleBikesForKids.org is the webpage. RecycleBikesForKids@gmail.com is the email. And the phone number for the shop is 501-207-1696, where you can contact us. Or you can always just drop by the shop. It's on 1212 East 6th Street, right in downtown Little Rock, and it's fairly accessible to get to. So we definitely encourage people to call us, set up a time to come by and see what's going on and see how they can get involved.
All right, let's repeat that email and the website and all of that once again.
Yeah, the website is recyclebikesforkids.org.
And how do you spell that? It's
just Recycle Bikes for Kids.
RECYCLEFOR?
Yes, FOR.
Okay, for kids, KIDS .org. Okay.
And the Facebook is it's facebook.com/recyclebikesforkids, and the email is recyclebikesforkids@gmail.com. So
what is the process? Is it embarrassing? Is it easy? Do they have to fill out paperwork, or what is it? How long does it take? Yeah, there is no paperwork required. We don't do background checks on people. We're not going to ask for a blood sample or anything like that. It's as simple as we have volunteer hours. They're Tuesdays 1 to 7, Saturdays 9 to noon. And it's as simple as coming by or calling us, expressing interest in wanting to volunteer or wanting to earn a bike, whichever you want to do, or wanting to obtain a bike for your child or a child that you know. And so it's just as simple as calling us, and then we'll better direct you as to when a good time to be down, come by is, and then we'll get you started on your process. As far as feeling comfortable or not comfortable in the shop, we have a variety of things we do. So, the ultimate goal is we're working on bikes, but we also need to organize all the bikes. We need to clean all the bikes. We need to organize parts. We need to clean the warehouse. We utilize about 6,000 square feet of space. So there's a lot of organization that needs to go into that. So it takes all people to keep the wheel turning, and that's, people fixing the bikes, but it's also the people, keeping the shop in good working order so people can fix the bikes. So, anybody who's nervous about fixing a bike, you can organize. That's easy. You don't have to know how to organize. That's just as simple as, hey, put this stuff here, put that stuff there. So we have a variety of tasks people can do. How many people work with your organization? It varies. Wintertime may taper off just a little,
but not much. But summertime keeps us real busy. Christmas keeps us real busy. You know, when it was started, this was 8 years ago, Ron King started it. He just had a vision, you know, that every kid needs to have a bicycle because that's your first sense of freedom. And he realized that some kids don't have a bicycle. So he said, hey, I'm going to give 100 bikes away this year. That was his goal he set forth for himself. And he's going to buy them out of Craigslist, give them away. And he gave himself a $20 limit to each bike. He bought his first 3 bikes and already blew the budget out the window and didn't know what he was going to do. Well, slowly word started spreading to friends, and friends told friends. And before he knew it, halfway through the year, he had collected 400 bicycles he didn't know what to do with. So then he urged those same friends, hey, I have a warehouse. We're going to put these bicycles in where his business operates, and let's see if we can fix these bicycles. They fixed 300, gave those away. And that year snowballed into the next year where, you know, we started off giving 300 bikes away. Now we average about 2,000 bikes a year. We've given over 10,000 bikes in 8 years. So the program has just billowed and expanded. And, you know, it's expanded from the original mission was just to make sure every kid had a bicycle. Now we offer adults the opportunity not only to earn a bike, but also to maintain their bike. Because there's either individuals trying to earn time in the shop, trying to help out just because they want to help out, or they're maintaining their bicycle they have already earned and they need to keep it operational throughout the year.
You said something that sparked a fire in me, and that was maintenance of the bicycle. Mm-hmm. How important is that? Can we talk about that specifically for a moment? Because I see that as a very good thing for a kid. They're taking on responsibility. They are learning to care for something. It's one of those kind of topics where, you know, it gets them involved. They learn a trade, and, you know, they are it's building their character, and it's also helping them physically. Let's talk about the maintenance. What is involved in maintaining a bicycle? What does that mean for a kid who's getting one for the first time?
Well, especially for kids, and especially in the neighborhoods around us, I mean, the biggest maintenance we're dealing with is tubes and tires. Just because a kid puts so many miles on their bike in the summertime. You know, summertime's really peak time for the kids that are riding. And like we've said before, it's their sense to freedom. It's their sense to mobility and how to get around. And it's your first sense that you can explore the world. So they're going through tubes and tires. So there's a lot of kids, you know, over where we live that are proficient in changing tubes and tires just because they have to so much during the summer. It's just trying to get a kid to understand his bicycle. And once you have someone work on their bicycle, once they maintain it themselves, then they feel more of a sense of ownership over it. Hopefully they feel more sense of pride to watch it and keep it in their possession. And you know, hopefully they just feel more sense of ownership, and they'll take pride in that and really, you know, maintain that for the long run.
Are you a bike rider?
Every day. Almost every day. I'm avid bike rider. I ride road bike. I ride mountain bike. I am obsessed, I guess people could say, with bike polo. There's a bike polo club here in Little Rock, and we play a lot of bike polo. But yeah, any kind of biking, I love it. Fell in love with it for health reasons, kept doing it for both health and just, you know, the betterment of our world. Sure. It's a clean way to get around, and it certainly makes you healthy at the same time. So
that's very true. There's a lot of climate change benefits for it, mm-hmm. but it's also very good for helping with things like balance, mm-hmm. especially as children are growing up. And sometimes parents are, you know, they're very concerned with those issues, and riding a bike it really helps with a lot of those different developmental things, and it can help kids to lose weight and a lot of other good things. And so we know that there are a lot of benefits to that. Tell me something. If somebody just wants to come out there and maybe have a bike repaired, can mm-hmm. they do that?
If they already have a bike in their possession and they either want to repair it or learn how to repair it, it's as simple as coming down to the shop, and we will walk them through that. We'll walk them through diagnosing their bike to see what needs to be repaired on it, and then how they are going to repair it from there on out.
What demographic do you serve in terms of the location where people are from, who is eligible for the program?
Anybody who breathes that is a living human being that can ride a bike.
It doesn't matter where they're from?
It's really as simple as that. I'll tell you this story. Last week, we gave a bike to a 96-year-old man. He avidly rides bikes because he doesn't like driving his truck all the time because he's got a big trailer attached to it that he said he uses for scrapping, so it's hard for him to drive it around town. So when he's not scrapping to make his little side money, he rides a bike. And unfortunately, someone had run over his bike.
Oh, no.
And we were contacted by Brother Paul over at Friendly Chapel Church, knew this gentleman, said, hey, you won't believe this. There's this 96-year-old man I know, and he rides a bike. But his bike got ran over. It's just bent in half. I can't salvage this for him. So we ended up working with him and getting back on a bike. So, I mean, it's anybody from, the 3-year-old kid who needs a balance bike to the 96-year-old man who's trying to get around in town. It just knows no limits. As long as the person is able and willing and wants to ride, we'll help them on that journey to get riding.
Have you had people from other states apply?
Not necessarily. There are programs like this in other states. I went to the convention for community and nonprofit and bike co-ops last year, and it represented almost about 30 different bike co-ops, community bike shops, or community bike programs in the United States. So there's a lot of programs like this, and this definitely wasn't an original idea we came up with. We just, Ron just noticed it hadn't been done here. It had been tried here at one point, and it phased out, and he just wanted to bring it back. And fortunately, we've been doing it for 8 years now, and it's been going strong.
Tell us about recommendations for bikes for different ages. For instance, if you're a toddler, 2 or 3, it's often recommended that you have a tricycle, and then you go from a tricycle to a larger bike. Do you guys deal with the smaller bikes? Yeah,
so, I mean, kind of the neat thing is, having done this for a few years now, we get to see the evolution of some of these kids. As we'll get, say, like a smaller kid in who's 2, 3, or 4 years old, and we'll put them on a tricycle or a balance bike or something like that. And what we always allow the parents is we say, hey, just bring us the bike back when they've outgrown it, and then we'll fix that, give it to another child, but also give them a larger bike in the process. So there's quite a few kids that we've seen progress in age and go up the bike ranks from, a small tricycle bike to, say, a 20-inch bicycle to now on a mountain bike, which is just really kind of interesting evolution when you see kids go through that riding process.
What about people who have bikes who don't utilize them?
Well, if you don't utilize them, one, you should utilize them. If you're not going to utilize them, please let us utilize them.
Yes.
I mean, because the large part of what you're not seeing when you come into the shop is there's a network of both bicycles and finances that have to happen. Beautiful thing is, for 7 years of our existence, we were nothing. We were not a nonprofit. We didn't exist on paper. This was just a gentleman who had a warehouse who was opening up and who was paying out of his own pocket to make all this happen. When I came on as full-time program director, we decided to take this to a nonprofit status. So now we officially have program director expenses, we have truck expenses, and all the expenses like that. So there's an extensive network of collecting bikes. We always got to collect bikes. We joke around that it takes about 3 bikes to make 1 bike. If we're giving 2,000 bikes away a year, that means we need upwards to 6,000 bikes a year to make the 2,000 bikes we're going to give away sometimes. It's just a rough estimate of where we look at bikes. So we're always needing to collect bikes. 2, we're always needing volunteers to help repair those bikes or to keep the shop in order. And 3, before we didn't have to worry about this, but now we have financial costs. So there's a variety of ways you can volunteer. You can give us a bike, you're a volunteer. You can help us repair the bikes, you're a volunteer. You can write a check, you're a volunteer. So we need volunteers of all sorts, because it's going to take finances to make sure that this program is a long stay for the community. And fortunately, there was one person who did that for a period of time, but it's not his burden to bear now. And now we really need the community to step up and say, both physically and financially, we're going to be behind this project and make sure it's a long stay for our community, because we feel like it's a real benefit to our community.
Absolutely. So when you talk about volunteers, what is the ideal volunteer and how many hours and those type of things?
Well, it really depends on what you're there for. I mean, there's volunteers that are there just to help out. They have no need for a bike. They may already have a bike themselves. They're just there to help fix bikes or just to commune, because it becomes a community. You start seeing the regular faces and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go hang out with whoever, and we're just gonna go talk for a while, repair on some bikes. So if you just want to come down and help out just to help out, it requires no specific time requirements whenever you want to come and leave. If you are trying to earn a bike, you're looking at anywhere from 3 to 50 hours, depending on what type of bike you're looking for, and what type of bike that shapes in, and what type of riding. So it really just depends on what you're trying to get on. If you're just looking for a basic bike just to get around town, no thrills, you're going to be in there 3 hours plus however long it takes you to fix. If you're like, hey, I think I want to try to start road riding and I want a really nice road bike, if we happen to get a donation in like that, it may cost you up to 30, 40, or 50 hours, just depending on the level of bike that you select and choose.
Do you help fit the bikes to the people? Because that's important too. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but it is very important that you get the right adjustments.
Yeah.
And do you train people on that?
Yeah, we try our best, to explain people fit, size, and how that will best work for them. Sometimes you're just going to get people that doesn't necessarily matter to them. The fact that it's blue is more important than the fact that it fits them, as they love the color blue. So you just never know. But usually, for the most part, people take to the advice of fit, because really fit and how a bike's set up really determines how efficient that bike's going to work for you. It can work very efficient for you, or it can work very inefficiently for you, depending on how it's set up.
All right. We only have a few more minutes here. Is there anything that you would like to say in closing?
Really, that we're just looking for more participation from the community. If you haven't heard about us, we'd love to have you down. If you have heard about us, we'd like to have you down back again if you haven't been in a while. And we're always looking for bicycles, we're always looking for volunteers, and now we're always looking for financial partners that want to see this program keep progressing into the future, and that can help us out financially. So if you fall under any of those categories, or if you just want to see what it's about, just poke your head in. Really, it's one thing to hear about it and talk about it, but until you see it in person, we've had volunteers come in and say, I think I want to help you. Great. They come down to the shop, we give them the tour, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, what do you need? Because it's just totally different seeing in person. It'll really pull at your heartstrings and make you really want to get involved in whichever way you can. So come on down and see us sometimes, or give a call and set up a time, and we'll gladly show you what we do.
I was so surprised to learn about this program. I really do think it's wonderful. I'm so happy that you guys are doing what you're doing. I think it fills a crucial need on so many planes for so many people. And I was just fortunate that I happened to, we have a similar friend, and they happened to mention you on Facebook, and his name was Shane, and I want to thank him for helping me direct me to you. And so once again, before we close out here, let's give the people the information where they can reach you one more time.
Yeah, definitely. Recyclebikesforkids.org is the webpage.
Okay, that's recyclebikes.org.
Yep. The main source we use is Facebook. So look for Recycle Bikes for Kids on Facebook. That's how all our updating happens. We tell you what's going on for the week, when we'll be there, when we won't. recyclebikesforkids@gmail.com is the email, and 501-207-1696 is the phone number.